Yo, we rolling deep, let's dive into the fray. Hit that play button, we review every bite. From horror flicks that give you chills at night to games that thrill, yeah, we get it right. Remember that, step back, hold tight. We'll dissect every scare, keep the vibe right. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes.
All right, guys, tonight we're going to go over the 1979 classic Amityville Horror. But before we get started doing that, everybody knows on the side I do a little podcast called the Paranormal War Room. And a month or so ago, these guys came on the Paranormal War Room and had a little chat with me. They're the Guilty and the Ghostly podcast, and they have decided to join us on here tonight and kind of go over this movie with us. So, guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself tonight.
Well, I appreciate you guys having us. We're excited. We are the Guilty and the Ghostly. You only have two of us tonight. There's actually four of us. I'm Audrey.
I'm Josh.
And then we do have Tori and Seth, but they couldn't make it tonight.
Well, so how long you guys been podcasting and stuff like that? I love your show, man. It's real interesting, and kind of what we're doing is they went over the criminal side and the paranormal side of the true story of the Amityville Horror, and we went on their show, and now they're coming on our show to kind of do the film side of it. So how long you guys been at this?
I believe the first day that we released was April 27th, so not very long, about 7 months. It was about March, and my sister and I would sit around watching true crime and scary movies all the time. We grew up with it with our mom, and finally I was just like, hey, let's do a podcast. Let's have some fun. And then we roped Josh and Seth into it, kind of forced them to come along with us, and they stuck around, and I think they're having fun now too, so...
Yeah, it's actually been a pretty
you
fun
guys
ride,
are killing it, man. We're happy to have you on here, and I'm hoping that this can be something we do every so often, man, because being on your show this week and now you guys coming on our show, man, it's been fun. So I'm hoping it's something we can start to do every so often. So
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Well, before we get started tonight, we got little bills we got to pay. Ain't that right, Daniel? So,
That's right.
You know, we got a couple sponsors, and our first sponsor we're going to talk about real quick is W Energy Drinks. And, you know, we're going to do that flavor of the week type of thing. Daniel, what's this week's flavor of the week, buddy?
So this week's flavor of the week from W is Grandma's Lemonade. I'm all about Grandma's Lemonade right now. It's for hydration. It comes in a little package. You mix it up with your drink. It's very great tasting, and it's really good. So come check us out I think our code is, remember that, save 10% with W.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are running some W specials too, ain't that right?
We are. So what we had, the most recent one was the sweet and sour blue raspberry, and it is so good.
Oh yeah, it's
Man,
really
I ain't
good.
had that one. That thing will probably keep you up late at night when you're talking about all those death scenes and stuff like that you guys do.
Yes, it gives us that energy the next day when we're staying up too late thinking about all of it.
Yeah, reading about all those motors and stuff. Like, I know how you women are, man. That stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Something's got to keep you up at night. You know what I'm saying? Just like my wife.
I fall asleep to them, so.
Yeah, she really does.
Hey, it is what it is, you know. But
Yep.
you know, so check out W. What you guys is code for your 10% off or whatever it is?
Ours is GGP for Guilty Ghostly Podcast.
All right. Well, everybody go visit. I think it's WGG. It's at the website, WGG.com, whatever it is. Anyhow, just Google W Energy Drinks. You'll find it. Use code, remember that, for 10% off. Or what was your code again?
GGP.
GGP for 10% off. And our next sponsor we've got is the Cult of Cult Clothing Company. And they do like vintage horror movie t-shirts and hoodies and hats and stuff like that. Check them out. Google them. Check them out. And if you'll use code HORRORPOD, you'll get 10% off your order there. And I'm telling you right now, if you go check those clothes out, man, they got some epic clothes there, man. Just some stuff that you wouldn't even think about. They've got it. It's real cool.
Oh, here's one of their shirts now. It's a Sweet Suspiria shirt.
Yeah, buddy.
It's got the designs on the sleeve too, says Suspiria. And I got one of their mystery shirts too, ended up with the health shirt, so that's pretty cool. But they've got stickers for your car, water bottles, laptops, whatever. You got hats, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts. So they've got some products on there that I haven't really seen, like design wise. So I really like their designs. And this shirt's like really good quality. So that's Horror Pod, HORRORPOD, to get that 10% off.
Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with that. So here's what we're saying. Go to Cult of Cult, grab you some sweet gear to put on, crack open that W, and either listen to our podcast or the Guilty and the Ghostly podcast. You can't go wrong with either one of those. All right, so now we're going to do this movie, the Amityville Horror. Is everybody ready to dig into this sucker?
Let's do it.
We got
All right.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Here we go. The Amityville Horror is a 1979 American supernatural horror film directed by Stuart Rosenberg. The film follows a young couple, George and Kathy Lutz, who purchase a home haunted by combative supernatural forces. Now, it's based on Jay Anson's 1977 book of the same name, which has documented the alleged paranormal experiences of the Lutz family, who briefly resided in the Amityville, New York home, where Rommel DeFeo Jr., I guess that's his name, committed the mass murder of his family in 1974. In this first entry of a long-running Amityville horror series, man, tell us how this sucker done at the box office, man.
All right, so the Amityville Horror 1979, the budget for this movie was $4.7 million, and it grossed $86.4 million at the box office.
Wow.
So made a
Wow,
really
that's pretty
good
good.
profit.
That's huge.
That's good.
Dadgum, man, they making some bank
That's
on
coming
that
off
stuff.
That's coming off the coattails of Halloween right there. They had a big horror surge in the late 70s, man.
They were ready.
Yeah, in the 70s, they were all about the horror genre, man. They was about to dip into the 80s when it was just about to blow up, man. What a time to be alive or dead or whatever you want to call it back those days. But anyhow, how about that cast, buddy?
Yeah. So we have our Lutz family here, starting with the father. We have George Lutz, played by James Brolin. And we also have Kathy Lutz, played by Margot Kidder. I was talking to Daniel earlier, and I want to say that she played Lois Lane in in some of the Superman films. Is that correct?
Yes, she did. She
So-
played Lois
I did-
Lane in Superman 1, 2, 3, and I think 4.
Yeah, I thought so because she looks really, really familiar. I just couldn't quite name what other movies she was in. And
Yeah.
the last cast member I'll listen here is Father Delaney, a man who just can't seem to catch a break in this movie, trying to help these people out, played by Rod Steiger.
There was
Yeah, but,
actually an Easter egg with Margot in the movie. Once we get there, when she's in the kitchen washing dishes and she's actually humming this theme song to Superman.
Oh, that's awesome!
that's
I
cool.
didn't
Okay,
catch
cool,
that.
cool.
That
That's
was
Easter egg
good.
about old Margot. She also done that Playboy spread. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't recognize her from that. Just Superman.
Yeah, right, Kate. I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So we'll get started with the movie now since we run down all that. So we're going to start in the beginning. It's called The Arrival. After a chilling prologue showing the brutal DeFeo murders, we meet George and Kathy Lutz, a young couple looking for a fresh start. They find a gorgeous Dutch colonial home on the river that is listed as suspiciously low price. Despite knowing about the tragedy that occurred there just a year prior, this financial deal is just too good to pass up, so they take the plunge. But the honeymoon phase is short-lived almost immediately. The atmosphere shifts. We see the family priest, Father Delaney, violently ill and swarmed by flies while trying to bless the house. Hearing a disembodied voice tell him to get out. Meanwhile, the Lutzes remain blissfully unaware, though George is already beginning to take a look, looking very wary. And the house seems to have cold spots that a mountain of firewood can fix. The trap is set. Man, that was hard. I feel like I'm trying to read back in kindergarten or something like that. But anyhow, so they move in, and the world's greatest priest shows up, basically finds out they're not even at the house and just lets himself in. I guess the Lord had his key, you know what I'm saying?
I was confused at first because I was just like, who's this random guy just walking into their house?
He just lets himself in, like he doesn't care at all. I don't think
Mhm.
anybody opened that door for him.
Well,
I mean,
later on in the movie, it did say that Margot Kidder had said that he had helped her through some tough times in the past. So apparently the priest was also kind of like a family friend. So
Yeah, they
it
had
was
some
more of
history.
a casual thing too.
Yeah, like he is her friend and she did ask him to come and bless the house, but it doesn't show that. So unless you already know that from the real story, if you're just watching the movie, yeah, it would kind of throw you off because you're like, this dude's just walking on in here. Is it never connected the dots there?
Right, right.
Well,
Hey, as a Catholic, I'm just happy that we had some. I'm just happy that a priest was there. You know,
well, I'm gonna tell you
I'm
right
happy
now,
that we
Brent.
get the.
You might not want to base your Catholic faith on this brother's performance, man, because it don't look too good for you guys. I'll tell you that right now. And
Right.
from what I learned on the podcast we done Tuesday night, I think you said the dude basically got scared and left, wouldn't even help him. Is that how that went in real life?
Yeah, he basically kind of like the movie. He walked in, started blessing the house. The entity told him, get out. And he said, okay, peace. And he left, didn't tell the family. He was gone.
He was doing what he was
I
told,
mean-
that's for sure. I know that.
So
Well,
in
you
both
walk into a
instances,
room-
Yeah, go ahead, Bryson. Go ahead.
You walk into a room and you start sweating and there's not a fly around. And within like 12 seconds, you've got like 1,000 flies on this window. And they weren't there before. And then you hear get out. That's it. Like, it had to ask him twice, or I guess tell him twice. I wouldn't have let it say it the second time. I'd have been gone.
Yeah, there's
One
no
You
time's
tell me to
good.
get out, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, but I will let you guys in on a little something. Everybody knows that when I moved into this home, it was very haunted. And I don't know how many of you guys have heard the story, but I'm not lying to you when I tell you this fly scene in this movie happened in this house. I'm not lying.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Goodness. You
We
should've
walked
got
into
out
our
of it, man.
dining. We walked into our dining room one day, and I kid you not, there was probably 500 huge flies on that one window,
Oh my
And I-
God.
and I didn't get
Oh my
out. So I guess I
gosh.
can't make fun of
You
these
didn't move
guys.
out a month later? It's
Man.
crazy.
This is the first 3 or 4 months we lived here, no doubt.
That's
So too late to
insane.
move
Yeah, I
out.
would have been gone.
Well, look, I ain't no rich man, so it was financially, we staying here whether we got to square up with a ghost or not. So, you know, I ain't the Lutz family, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
those guys, the funny thing about this movie is, they claim like they're always strapped for cash and, this, that, and the other, yet they've got a boat, he's got a motorcycle, he's got an office, owns his own business.
Well, did find out from the real story, they actually really weren't strapped for cash like they try to make it seem in the movie. He owned his own business and was doing well, and how they got the down payment, they paid a huge down payment on the house. And how they got that money is they sold George's mother's house. I guess she passed away or something and they were selling it. So it's not even like they were that strapped for cash.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Mhm.
thought it was kind of cool too how because at first we all questioned like why did they buy this house? Like it seems like it would be so dumb to buy a house someone was murdered in. And then he started to kind of list like some of the reasons like why they got it, like how it had the boathouse and it has the extra building for his office that he doesn't have to pay rent for. So some of that stuff started to make sense to me. And then also at the very beginning, when we see the murder of the family, one thing we talked about in their podcast was how it didn't make sense how nobody heard the gunshots. And I don't know if this was true for the night of the murders, but there was a big storm in the movie. So you can maybe make sense of it there to where like the thunder may have like, made it to where you couldn't hear the gunshots.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys saw that in your research. Like, was it a stormy night
I
when
did
the
not see anything
murders actually
about.
happened?
Yeah, I should have looked at that. I didn't even think to look at the weather to see if that explained it. And another thing is, the real house had a swimming pool. They didn't show it in the movie, but they had a huge swimming pool in the backyard too.
Oh, I did not realize that. I wouldn't have swam in it. No way. Probably
There's
would've been
actually
drowned in there.
pictures of the police officers in full like scuba diving gear, I guess, searching the pool for evidence.
Pool must have been so murky. Like it probably ain't that deep. Come on, guys. That's
Well,
crazy.
It was
You know
just
what
an
killed-
excuse for him to put the scuba gear on.
Yeah.
It's
you know
my
how
time
these
to
places-
You gotta
shine.
do something with
Yeah.
this.
You know what kills me about that whole situation is the the fact that they paid extra to have the original furniture stay in the home. And to me, that just throws up a flag in my mind, because I don't understand that. I wouldn't want somebody else's furniture in a normal house, let alone a house that people have been murdered in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I learned a lot in that podcast the other night that just kind of made me think, I don't know if we know the whole story here, because I'm kind of leaning towards this whole thing was a money grab, you know, especially when you get the Warrens involved. I think they're the two biggest frauds that's ever walked the face of this earth. You know, just glorified.
I will say, the more that I research these stories, I've always considered myself a skeptical believer, and I honestly thought I would lean more towards a believer with doing the podcast. But the more stories I cover, I keep going closer to the skeptical side. There's just too much that you can kind of say, what are we doing here? Was this really real?
It's too convenient, some things that occur with them,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Honestly.
and anytime you get the Warrens involved, and I know they've been glorified in movies and stuff like that, but man, that glorified used car salesman, that's all those guys were, man. And anytime
Well,
they
I will
show up, there's going to be a book written and there's going to be money made. I can promise you that, you know.
Well, I think
And
our
there-
next episode, I'm actually going to cover the Warrens, and I am going to cover the not so glamorous side of them. So definitely check it out.
Oh, we
Nice.
definitely will.
I'll check that out for
because
sure. That sounds awesome.
I got a lot of opinions on the Warrens, because I'm one of those people. I wanted everything to be true. Even like when we started doing this podcast and we were talking about Amityville Horror, I wanted all this to be true. And as you was telling us the other night about all this stuff, you kind of just shattered my dreams here, man, because I thought, well,
I know.
this was all a hoax now, you know. But anyhow, you know, it is what it is. But Daniel, where are we at on the movie right now?
Actually, so the Lutzes moved in. The priest kind of did the blessing and it went bad. And then the priest ended up, in the movie, the priest ended up going and telling his superior, which ended up being the mayor of Amityville in Jaws, or Amity Island in Jaws. So that dude was crooked as hell to begin with, you know. So
Yeah, I knew it.
he's not getting anywhere with that dude.
No.
I was actually, so one scene that kind of popped out to me is when he was trying to make his superiors believe that, you know, he actually saw what he saw, heard what he heard. The dude that ended up was the mayor in Jaws actually yelled at him and told him, screamed at him to sit down. And I was thinking, man, okay, so this dude, like, he's really, really trying to just quash this, you know, from the get-go. He didn't want anything, you know, building, I guess, maybe to make the church look bad or anything like that. So he really wanted to keep that priest quiet. And then from then on, every single time that the priest tried to help the family, something bad would happen to the priest.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we're at. Things are starting to escalate in the house. At this point, you've already got the little girl that has the imaginary friend. She's talking to the imaginary friend, and you know, it kind of starts off as kind of just like kid stuff, you know, it's whatever, and then things get more serious from there. So that's kind of where we're at.
What did she say the name of her imaginary friend was?
I believe it's Jody.
Jody.
Yeah, it's Jody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we find out later Jody was a big pig, right?
Yeah, Jody ends up being a big freak, is what Jody ended up being. Trapped the
And I will
babysitter
say
in a
that-
closet.
Holy headgear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was some
But
headgear and a half right there.
Yeah, her relationship with Jody was like probably one of the creepiest things for me in the movie. I was talking to Daniel about it at work earlier. There's something about these movies from the 70s. I know this one can be a little goofy at times, and it does take some inspiration from The Exorcist, which The Exorcist scarred me as a child. I can't look at the girl's face from The Exorcist without like getting chills, because I was a kid when I watched it. I shouldn't have watched it. But all the scenes with the little girl and her like imaginary friend Jody just creep me out so much. Like the scenes where she's staring at a rocking chair and she's by herself. And like we just mentioned before, where her babysitter is locked in a closet, and you can clearly tell this babysitter is like claustrophobic in some way, because she starts freaking out. And at this point, you know, their wedding of her brother's going on, and they keep flipping from that scene back and forth. She starts banging on the doors. Her nail, like her knuckles are bloody, and the lights go out. Like that scene in this movie like really creeped me out, I thought. But yeah, like her imaginary friend Jody was super super creepy.
And
And
then
I
the
think
little girl
and
just laid down and took a nap while the
Yeah, she
babysitter's
was a jerk.
screaming.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
also
is
wanted to
on
mention
the-
this while you brought up inspiration, and this movie is very inspired by Psycho. Pretty much steals the shower scene music a couple times.
Yeah, it really does. So basically, that
Keep in mind that it's not just affecting the kids, it's also affecting the head of the household, George. And so George at this point is already, he stays cold all the time. He cannot chop enough firewood. You
that's
know,
what I was going to say.
his
Yeah.
hair,
off the deep end.
his hair and his beard, he starts off looking, like a 1970s, porn star.
Although
looking.
he
My
is a
mom,
sexy beast, I will say that.
man, my mom told me, because my mom was early 20s in the 70s, teenager in the early 20s in the 70s. And she was like, oh, yeah, James Brolin, man, everybody wanted James Brolin. He was so hot. And dude ended up looking like a deranged Bob Ross by the end of this movie.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt.
I mean,
they did a really good
yes.
job showing, like physically showing him change throughout the movie. Because at first
Yeah,
he
they
just
really did.
normal dude, and by the end of it, he was just not even the same
progression.
guy.
That's
Yeah,
one of the things
yeah.
that I liked about this movie. I think they paced it well with the
Mhm.
progression of the evilness coming upon him, and his physical appearance changed, his emotions changed, but it was slow. So they did a good job with the pacing.
Now,
Because
which
I
movie
know,
came
like,
first?
we're gonna talk about this here.
Go ahead, Bryson.
Which movie?
I was just going to say which movie
The
came first,
Exorcist
this one
or-
or The Shining, because I get a lot of The Shining vibes from his transformation. I can
Well,
get that.
Amityville
The
Horror
Shining,
came-
The Shining
Yeah.
took a lot from this movie.
Yeah,
The
you
Shining
can
took a
tell.
lot from
You can
this
tell.
movie. This movie came out
But
in 79,
but,
and The Shining didn't come out until 80.
but the book
Okay,
came
okay.
before the Amityville Horror, and it has the same vibes of Jack. It's pretty much the same
Yeah,
as the
I mean,
movie,
it was
except for-
a croquet mallet in the book versus an axe, but I mean,
I'm
I
talking
get
about
what you're saying.
talking about the progression of him going insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm
And I will
talking
say
about
that's a-
whenever he actually chops the bathroom door down with the axe, because The Shining took that.
Yeah,
from
that
this
does
movie.
not happen in the book. Jack does not chop down a bathroom door, so they may have taken that. Or who directed The Shining again?
Stanley
A
Kubrick.
famous,
Stanley.
yeah, very famous
Stanley Kubrick.
director. Yeah,
So
Stanley Kubrick
that's-
may have borrowed a little bit from this movie.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I love Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and me and Donna, we were just watching Stephen King's The Shining, which is the different version. I think that came out in the 90s. And that one and this movie, I enjoyed the pacing better when it comes to the insanity of it. Because, Jack Nicholson killed it. Love that dude. That's one of my favorite roles of his. But off the rip, he already looked unsettling. Like when he was in the interview, he looked unsettling. Driving the car, like that dude seemed on edge from the first moment you see him.
That's just Jack
But-
Nicholson.
It's
Yeah.
just Jack Nicholson. But with this movie, he just looks like a normal guy. And with Stephen King's The Shining, the one in the 90s, he just seems like a normal dude. Has a bigger impact, I think, seeing the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. They look like different characters because of that pacing and how well it's not night and day. It just kind of progresses throughout.
And I'll
And,
go ahead and say that George Lutz was one of the most chill characters. Like I don't even remember him raising his voice until getting towards the end of the movie. Dude looked like he smoked like 5 ounces of weed a day and acted like it too. I mean,
Why
this
he-
dude
in the
was
70s.
chill. This
I
dude
I know
did
we're not
see
here
where-
yet.
I did see where he was talking about in an interview trying not to be over the top, and he actively tried to be almost calm and asked everybody, if I start getting too over the top, check me, because I don't want it to be that. And so he tried really hard to keep that calm composure throughout the entire movie.
Well, he
Yeah, he
achieved
definitely
that.
mastered that. I can say that.
Yeah.
You know.
And this movie was a lot more of a slow burn compared to more modern movies. I think there was only like 1 or 2 jump scares. The rest, it
Yeah,
was
with the
just
cat.
psychological to me.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Yeah,
cat.
the cat got
the
me.
cat was a
That got me so bad. I
The
was not
cat.
expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Is that Binks or Salem?" And Donna said, "No, if it was Salem, he'd have like a dumb little sombrero on or something."
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But
Oh,
yeah,
man. Well,
I'd say probably at this point, Corky, we're in the second act of the movie mainly
yeah, let's
here.
roll with it.
Yeah, and so around this point in the movie, a lot of things have been established so far. You know, we've had the priest come over. We can also tell there's some supernatural elements going on, but they start to ramp up quite a bit, particularly with the fact of 315. That's a significant time. That's when the family was murdered a year before this family moved in. And several things start happening around the house. One thing in particular that stuck out to me was the instance where the wife, she rises up out of bed, and I believe she starts screaming he was murdered, or he was shot in the head. This was probably the
She was
second
shot in the
jump
head.
scare.
she was shot in
Yeah,
the head.
another jump scare that really got me because, like you were saying earlier, this is a slow burn movie, so I was kind of just watching it, trying to unravel and understand the plot as it was going on. But I thought something that was really cool about this as well is the useless priest trope. I guess it's in this movie. So how this movie kind of pulled from The Exorcist a little bit. In The Exorcist, the priest was kind of the hero. He was really adamant on helping this family out and trying his best to do so. Whereas in this movie, we see a priest really try to do this, and he's putting efforts in, but he's trying to drive down the highway and he's locking up the car. He's choking the guy out over the phone, and then he's making him go blind in the church. What did you guys kind of think about the middle of the movie as well as some of those aspects that I mentioned to you guys?
So I feel like it tried to show the power of this thing. Because you look at The Exorcist, even though Reagan is one of the best like characters in horror with how scary she is, because it's simple, it's realistic. Ultimately, she can be conquered, or I guess Pazuzu, he could be conquered. In this movie, I think they tried to show that power that even him being in the church and yelling this prayer to God, the piece of the statue still fell and blinded him. Like, it doesn't really matter. They're basically trying to say that this demon can't just be conquered by a priest.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's
I guess
crazy.
you could. I guess you could
And I
look at
got
it
that
the
too.
opposite way as well if you wanted to. Just as far as every single time the priest tried to make it to the house, he was always being attacked. And I know, if you want to look at it the other way, you can say maybe the demon was scared of the priest actually making it into the house and doing the blessing. And so he's doing everything he can to keep the priest away, keep him in his parish, keep him away from the house because he doesn't want to leave. So it could be the opposite way.
Well, that's interesting. I never looked
I
at
can
it from
see
that
that
standpoint. That's pretty good, buddy. I like
That
that.
is a
And
good
that does
point.
make sense because as soon as the nun showed up, she got violently ill, just like the
Yeah,
priest.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
maybe the priests were trying to do their job. Is this demon, whatever it was like, we can't let them get the chance to get in here to do their job, because he knew he couldn't stand up against them. That's pretty good thoughts there, Brent. I like that, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting, kind of going off that too. One of their friends, or one of George's friends, his girlfriend, I don't know if she was some sort of medium or she had some, she maybe studied, spirits or something. But as soon as they rolled up to the house to give George, some mail and I believe some kind of part for his boat, she immediately like got the creeps from the house. So you've got that girl who was creeped out by the house, and the nun and the priest. So those three characters must have had, some connection, whether they were maybe more religious than everyone else, to where they
it's
could
like
sense it.
anybody that had a connection with a spirit with a spiritual side automatically had problems when they would go in that house,
And then
And I
later
can
on, she
remember
just
watching
like,
this movie growing up, and my mom always told me this movie was about the devil, So there's the scene where everything's going crazy, and I think it's one of the bedrooms or stuff like that. Didn't stuff start coming out the walls at one point? Anyhow, but
Blood
Yeah,
started coming
blood
out.
and
yeah,
stuff.
all the blood
Blood.
stuff. I can remember just again watching this movie at like 4 or 5 years old because that's how we rolled at my house. But just being terrified of it, man. and then being afraid to go to bed at night because you go, back in those days, you'd go to the movie, your local where you go rent videotapes at, and you'd always see the tape of the Amityville Horror sitting there. And I just remember the sight of that house scared me to death just looking at it, But things was going to get wild when you get up the courage to rent this movie and The Exorcist. I never will forget those times. Yeah, that was a weekend when you got those two movies and you want to rent.
That's how I always felt. Dad had a VHS tape of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and when you flipped it over to the back, it was a picture of the poster with Leatherface, like next to a barn with the woman, and just looking at the movie cover, it always scared me. It's like, oh, I can't watch that movie. Like, so I feel your pain, Corky.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I could be that kind of father figure to you, buddy. Makes me feel good.
Great job, Daniel. Man, good job, buddy.
Dad of the year.
Dad of the year.
I'm sure
man.
if any one of my 3 kids was to come in here right now, they would tell some of the same stories, because not only that is that my kids would watch these movies, same ages and stuff. Then they would go to bed with all these horror masks hanging on the walls and stuff like that, as decorations. So
yeah.
Corby, have you ever just I know you like to make your masks all the time. Have you ever just put one on and scared your family on purpose with your mask?
Let me tell you a little story. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Cade. So my youngest child, Braden, who is now 16 years old, he was the wildest kid that God has ever put on this planet, right? Now he's the most shy and docile kid you'll ever meet. But up until 5, man, he was like Speedy Gonzales, right? So we couldn't contain him. So we'd be in our living room watching these movies, and you couldn't get him to be still just to watch anything. So I had this werewolf mask, right? He was terrified of the werewolf mask. So what I would do, on those nights when I needed him to be still, I would put that werewolf mask in the hallway there, leading from the living room into the rest of the house.
Oh my God.
And he would not leave the living room because he was afraid of that werewolf mask laying there in the hallway. So, hey,
crazy.
It worked. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
awesome. That's
Josh
Dad
did that
of
to
the
his
century
sister.
right there.
Yeah.
Josh
Hey,
did
he
that
is
to his
not
sister with
scarred at all.
Josh did it to his sister with one of those.
Ventriloquist dolls.
Yeah.
Listen,
She hated that
those
thing.
things are evil just looking at them.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Dolls are scary. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hers look just like the one off of Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Oh,
It was
forget
pretty
that.
frightening
Yeah,
to
that
look
would
at to
punk
begin
that
with.
dude.
What
Forget
is
that.
what is that guy's name? The guy from Goosebumps. What's his name?
That's Slappy.
That's one of
Slappy.
Slappy.
Yeah.
that's
Slappy.
one of the
Slappy.
scariest Goosebumps
Yep.
episodes ever, man.
Mm.
There's no shot.
That's one of the
That
most
scared
famous
me.
ones. There's 2 parts to it. There's Slappy Returns, man. You ever seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Slappy Returns.
When I was 17 years old, they used to have a store before Spirit got big. It was called Halloween Express. And I went to a Halloween Express and I bought a Michael Myers mask. Had this thing on when my mom walked into the kitchen. And I was standing in the kitchen and I just looked at her. I didn't move. I didn't do anything. I was standing there and she kind of knew it was me, but then she started freaking out. And so then I did the head tilt. And then she really started freaking out, and I took a step forward toward her. And yeah, it went bad, but it was funny as crap, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that mask. We had some good times, man. We scared a lot of people with that
Shoot, yeah,
mask
man.
on, because I don't know how we
Yeah,
even
we
got the
did.
money to afford it back then, but somehow you did. You didn't steal that thing,
I think
did you?
nah, man, I think my granddaddy gave me some money at one point. He was the only person in the family that had money.
Guys, I think that's pretty good covering the middle of the movie. You guys ready for some trivia?
And I got some trivia questions.
Sure.
It's a little more shorter and sweeter this time because it's been a while since I've watched this movie. So I was still watching the movie to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was pulling trivia questions as I could, but I think I've got 6 or 7. So for our guest here, the way that we do trivia is if you know it, just say your name, and it's kind of whoever I hear first, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay. So question number 1. Okay. What did George say when Kathy told him about the murders in the house? They're sitting up in the attic and she tells him about the murders in the house. He says something.
Audrey,
Go ahead.
houses don't have memories.
That's
Strikes
right.
first blood. There we go.
Good
August
job.
on top
That was
of
a
it.
good one.
Gosh,
Good
she's
job.
August on
On
our
top
home
of it.
turf. Dang it.
That is what I'm talking about.
Hey,
Question,
this is our house.
Question
This is our
number
house.
2. Question number 2. What popular diet drink did Kathy have on the counter when George first got cold?
I
Corky.
didn't see that
See.
one.
Corky, go.
Coke.
God, no. No.
Man.
Somebody take
Just
a
gonna
guess. Come on. There ain't many diet drinks
Hey,
back
It
in
is a
Diet
79.
popular. It is a very popular diet drink from the 70s and 80s.
I bet I
very
know what it
popular.
is now.
The
You-
Diet Pepsi?
You probably do. No, but you're close.
All right, I got it. Can I say one?
All
is
right,
it a tab?
so at this point, since you've already, it is a tab. It is a tab.
Yeah.
No point for Corky because that's his second guess.
I had no idea what you're
but
talking
it-
about. I would
it
never
was a
guess
tab.
that.
Hey, here's
Yeah, I
here's
don't even
what's
know what
something
that
funny.
is.
It's old.
What happened to Tab, man? Because that in the early '80s, that was a popular drink. What
It's-
happened to Tab?
It was.
What
well,
it
it
tastes
Probably better
sucked.
for you than the
First
stuff we
off,
drink
I
now.
don't remember, Brent.
That's probably what happened.
Man, it tasted like garbage.
Was it
My
like
mom-
a bit like a Coke and a Pepsi, or did it have a special taste?
It was a cola.
Oh, it had to. It was a carbonated beverage. It tasted worse than Diet Coke, and Diet Coke is the worst drink that I've ever had. So if that
Listen,
tells you-
sir, I enjoy a Diet Coke every now and then.
Diet
Nah.
Coke sucks. I will
No
tell
way.
you that right now.
No way.
Well, as you can tell from my
God.
physique, I hate.
Man,
diet
I tell you
drinks.
what.
I hate the artificial. I hate the.
If you guys can drink a Diet Coke and enjoy it, man, you are more man than
Diet
me.
Dr Pepper is
Because
the
I
only.
can't do it.
It's the only Diet Coke or Diet
Daniel, my
drink that
fridge is
tastes
stocked
decent.
full of Diet Coke.
Oh
No,
my God.
no, I could drink a Coke Zero, but not a Diet
That's what I
Coke.
like is Coke Zero.
I hate Coke Zero too.
Coke Zero tastes
need
better
full
than
flavor.
a Diet Coke.
It tastes better than
I
a
need
Diet
full
Coke.
flavor on anything.
It does. Coke Zero is
The
superior to
Pepsi
Diet
one,
Coke.
Pepsi one sucked. Pepsi Zero sucked. Pepsi Free sucked.
What about Diet
We
Dr
had-
Pepper?
Man, when I worked at Coke, we had
Diet
caffeine
Dr.
free
Pepper
Diet
tastes pretty
Coke.
good. Or it tastes okay.
We called it
for a
calf
diet
diet.
drink. It tastes okay.
Calf diet sucks.
Of course, guys, don't listen
Anyway.
to Dad's. Don't listen to Dad's preferences. He's the guy that can't drink a beer. Or he says it's a dirt or whatever.
See,
Dude,
that's
I
what I was
hate
going to
beer.
say. Y'all don't
hate
like
beer.
Diet Cokes, but Jens can drink that camel piss. I'll never see how you can drink.
Oh my
See,
God! No!
I'd rather
I got a-
drink
I got a
Coke
different
water.
one than usual.
It's the Jack and Coke that
I've
that
got a
makes
different
the
drink than usual.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
What are you
I'd
drinking?
I'd rather drink toilet water than a beer, man.
I can't
Give me a
handle
Diet
beer.
Dr
I don't
Pepper all
like
day
it.
long.
I can't handle
Hey,
Diet Dr
if
Pepper either.
Coors wants to sponsor us, you know what I'm saying?
Get
We'll
out,
take
brother,
their
out.
money,
We will
that's for
definitely
sure.
I know that.
Dos Equis?
Oh, you guys are from Texas.
Yeah, they're
You guys are from Texas, yeah. I forgot.
So I was
about that.
talking to a guy, and he said the only thing I drink is water and Shiner.
That sounds about right.
Hey, how
Yeah.
far are you guys
Maybe
from
some sweet
Austin,
tea.
Texas?
2.5 hours.
Oh,
3
yeah?
hours.
I
What
had a
part of
job
Texas did you say
opportunity
you're
down there.
from?
I turned it down, but I almost
Around
moved to
Tyler.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
Tyler,
DB's
really?
Texas.
Oh,
DB's
okay.
Texas.
Look at his face.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Texas
I
is
don't know.
Texas is cool. I know I don't have to tell you guys that because
Well, we're
Texas is
originally
a
from
cool state.
Oklahoma. We're originally from Oklahoma, and then I
Okay.
moved down here in high school, and then we got together,
you
and
guys
he moved down
are
here.
you guys Sooners?
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
Okay.
You guys
so you're
Longhorns?
Are you Longhorns?
I would say I am, just for softball.
Yeah.
Thanks.
softball's
Just
cool.
wait until. All I gotta say is
I like
don't mind-
LSU better though.
I don't mind the Texas
God.
Longhorns, but just wait until next year in Neyland Stadium. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
By the looks of it,
Why,
Brent,
so
it's
they
not
can
going
go
to
beat
pan
us
out
at
very well
Neyland?
for us.
Is that what you're saying?
They'll probably beat us by 35 points next year in Neyland Stadium. Well, I'll say this: football in Texas is different. I mean, you can't take nothing from Texas when you talk about football, because those guys,
Oh yeah.
they got high school
they got their own
stadiums
farm system.
that are bigger than some college stadiums around here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that is
yeah,
true.
100%.
They've got their
Our
own farm
10-year-old actually gets to go play at the Dallas Cowboys stadium on Sunday.
Oh,
so.
that is super
What?
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's
That's awesome.
There's
Well,
Sorry,
all right,
didn't
so
mean
we're
to
gonna,
derail
we're
the
gonna go ahead
podcast.
and no, we're used to it. We're used to being derailed around here. We're on question number 3. So question
Yep.
number 3, What was the dog's name?
Cade.
Oh my God, I just talked about this earlier.
Cade said his name.
Did Cade say it? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cade.
Harry.
Yes.
Harry is correct.
That's
Cade
right, I
coming
forgot.
in. Go ahead with question 4. What time does odd things keep happening?
Cade.
Brent.
Josh.
Bryce.
Brent, I heard Brent first.
Well, I was going to say 3:13.
What'd you say, Brent?
Whoa, what?
Brent
Wait,
got
whose
it
turn was
wrong.
it?
Okay, Bryson
Yeah.
is, I guess, the second person I heard. Well, actually, I heard the guilty and the ghostly up here. I did hear them
3:15.
come in second. 3:15 is correct.
Yes.
3:15 is
Ding,
correct.
ding,
Bryson, I heard you third. I think you guys kind of come in at the same time. I think we've got a little bit of a lag.
That's
Just
every
said
time.
Right.
3:15 instead of my
Wouldn't be
name.
right if it wasn't.
And so Bryson, the professor, is usually, I think he usually comes out on top on these things. So he's got his
I
work
don't
cut out for
know.
him
I
tonight.
don't know. Me and Cade have been going back and forth, and then me and Brent were going back and forth for a little bit. So I ain't going to climb back.
Corky
Hey,
usually
hey,
comes
he's
in
called
with a
the
big goose
professor.
egg. We don't
He's
worry
called
about
the
that.
professor for a reason. He knows
I'm
his
too
stuff.
busy running the show back here, man. You know, I'm producing
over
while
there
y'all are
Googling
doing
the
this.
answers.
You know.
Corky's on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
You
That's
can't
what
prove that, Cade. You cannot prove
I've
that.
seen your setup. I know you got that laptop over there.
You can't prove
That's
nothing.
funny.
You can't prove
I
nothing.
didn't see
That's
Corky's
funny.
hands just like this.
All right. Everybody has to answer like this. Everybody.
Yeah.
I honestly, I know where I'm at here, but I don't know if this is question 4 or 5, but we'll
This
go
is
ahead.
5.
I'll take the first person that rings in. How much money went missing before the wedding?
Corky.
Right.
Audrey.
Corky, I heard Corky first.
No.
1,500.
Ding, 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 baby.
Yeah, buddy.
We got it. And this is my last question. So, do we have a distinct winner at this point, or are we pushing for a tie?
Our guests tonight
No,
are
I
in
mean,
the
I
lead
think-
with 2
I
points.
think everyone has one, and except for
I ain't got nothing.
Yeah, I've got
Okay,
our
sounds
guests.
I have 0, and Corky has 1, and the guests have 2.
Yep, that's
So
correct.
we're
Okay,
playing
so
for a
this is-
tie.
this
If
is-
anybody can,
We're playing for a
we
tie.
can get a. Yeah.
We're playing for a tie. Okay, so actually, and this question is more on me because I went with the last time that I saw something on the screen, and I'm real big on my questions. You either have to hear it or you have to see it. Usually, you have to see it in the movie. So this could be up for debate if somebody wants to challenge me, and I'm down with it because. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and ask.
That's what you want to hear before you get a trivia question. Is
It
I could
sounds
be
really
wrong,
fair.
right?
I don't know if
So-
I'm
It
right or
sounds
not,
like
but I'm going to
I
ask.
win.
So, watching the movie, okay, we already know the actual number, but watching the movie, what was the last day shown in the movie? The last day.
You talking about the date
Correct.
or the actual day of the week?
No. How many days? How many days had it been? What was the last
Audrey.
time that it showed in?
I knew
Audrey,
she was
go.
going to get that.
28 days.
Okay, so 28 days is the actual number of days that they were in the house. Did it actually show that in the movie?
I heard Brent's name.
I
Brad,
didn't
did
know
you-
he was asking for the number of days. I was going to guess a date. January 13th, I thought was
Bryson?
the last day. I could be totally off.
I wasn't paying attention to the days. Bryson, go.
Is it day 19?
It is day 19. That is the last date that I saw, or the last day that I saw on the screen before George Lutz come home from the bar and everything went to crap from there.
I can
So-
Google this.
Day 19. I do know that in real life, Audrey, they
Yeah.
were there for 28 days. I looked that up and verified myself just to make sure. But in the movie, it went from, I think the detective had the conversation with the priest after he went and checked on Father whoever that was blind. And then it went to George that went into the bar, met with his buddies. They come back to the house and it was raining or whatever. They found the portal to hell. Then it started raining, and the 19th was the last time that I saw. And
It's so weird because the
didn't
Google
know
AI
it
said
in-
it was January 14th. I don't know why. That's really strange.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you saw the 19th. That's
Yeah,
such a distinct
I was one
day
day
not-
off. I think I get a half a point for that.
Day 19 was the last date that I saw.
Well,
Either way, congratulations to our guest for winning this week's trivia.
yeah,
Shoot,
coming in
yeah.
and mopping the floor with
Awesome.
us, man.
That's right.
Yeah, they
we should have
did.
known better. They
They
did
did
all
their
their
homework.
research for their podcast. they had some knowledge.
Was that audio of someone getting murdered? What
Dude, that
was that?
scared the crap out of me.
That was a recording from the Amityville Horror
I mean, that was
House.
like people screaming in pain.
Gosh, that was scary.
That's
That
that
was when they
recording
opened the
that
demon
they
portal.
got in that hole that was supposed to be recording of hell, you know?
Oh my god.
All right, guys, listen, if you're listening to this podcast and your love for horror movies isn't just something you watch, it's definitely an identity. So if you want clothing that reflects your passion, whether you're at a convention, a midnight screening, or just chilling on the couch watching a classic slasher, then you need to check out our new sponsor, Cult of Cult Clothing Company. Now, Cult of Cult, they create original, high-quality gear for the dedicated horror fans. You know, we're talking shirts, hoodies, apparel with incredible designs inspired by everything we celebrate on the show. Shoot, I just ordered that Halloween 3 hoodie, man. It is so dope, man. I love that thing. So if you're, into the horror genre, man, then it's definitely time to upgrade your wardrobe. Go visit thecultofcult.com and check out their merchandise, man. And as you check out, they're giving our listeners a sweet deal, man. Enter the code HORRORPOD at checkout to get 10% off of your entire order. God.
Well, I
Okay,
think
we're
at
coming
this
down to
point-
the end of the movie now, guys. Home stretch.
Yeah,
Are we
we're
ready?
in the third act.
All right.
We're in the third act now.
Finally, we reach the climax. The house is done playing games. The walls literally begin to bleed. The temperature skyrockets, and the family discovers the red room in the basement, which serves as a portal to hell. Okay. Yeah. Which
Is
I
that where
just
you
had a
recorded
recording
that
of it.
sound, Porky?
Yeah. Okay. The sensory assault is total blood, wind, and noise. In a moment of clarity, George snaps out of his possession just enough to realize they have to leave now. There is no final battle, no exorcism, no victory over the spirit. They simply grab their crap and get out, but they forget the dog, and he is a man and goes back in and gets the dog. I'll give him that because I'd have to
gave
run
him
back
my
in and get
props
my
for that.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I like this guy, man. He was cool, man. He was a man's man, you know what I'm saying? Cutting all that wood, trying to keep his family warm. Shoot, do what you got to do. But, the film ends with, not with a bang, but with a sobering title card stating that George and Kathy Lutz never reclaimed their house or their personal belongings, cementing the idea that the house won. So, what's everybody think about the ending, man?
I think that the ending is very anticlimactic.
Yes.
There's nothing really happened. And I was pissed pretty much the whole time because the dog, which is always, if you watch a horror movie, okay, the cat's going to live if there's a cat. The cat always
Yes,
lives.
the cat will
The
live.
dog is the one that's going to get killed. This dog didn't get killed the whole time. He stayed alive. And the dog is always the smartest one in the movie. So from the get-go, this dog is like, dudes, like, we don't need to be up in this house. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's just reality.
dog
That's
is
just
sitting
how
there.
dogs are. They got better sense than us,
Yeah.
man, you know?
Wasn't the dog
I
trying to
say
dig
kudos
the
to
portal
the
hell, like,
dog.
open?
Yeah, because he was
Yeah.
trying to, he's trying to be like, y'all think I'm smoking crack, but I'm for real. Look, I'm trying to
Look at
show you the portal to hell over here, guys. I'm trying to show it.
I made my
So
paws
here's what I have
bloody.
to say.
What'd you say, Brent?
I was just going to, so here's what I say about the ending. I give it credit for trying something new. You guys, the professor, whoever, let me know if I'm wrong because you know horror movies better than I do. But I can't really think of a movie that ends in that way where the villain wins in a horror movie at the end. I can't think of one. I could be wrong. But regardless, there's not too many of them if there was one before that. And so I know this movie was a hit when it came out and it scared a lot of people. That ending, if you think it's a true story and you go into the movie thinking it's a true story and you see that ending, it freaks you out because in your head, there's no conclusion. The demon is still there. So that's scary. And so I give it credit for trying something a little bit new. And even though now, 40 years or 50 years later, we can look back and laugh at it for having like a weird ending, but I try to give credit to movies that try something a little bit different. Definitely going into it with the director, his goal was to try to make you think it was a true story, So with that in mind, it would be a scary ending. So I give them credit for that.
Well, I kind of like that, man, because the good guys don't always win, especially in a situation like this. You don't always have Zach Bagans coming in and beating up the ghost in front of everybody and stuff like that. Sometimes evil wins, man, and that's reality. And I kind of like the ending of this movie because sometimes you just got to grab your crap and go. Kind of like the end of this movie.
I did kind of like it. I did kind of like the fact that not necessarily in this movie. Yes, you would say that the evil won. In most of the movies, Brent, what you were talking about, in Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy is always defeated at the end of the movie, but Freddy always hangs around for another day. You know what I mean? So does Jason. There's, plenty of horror movies that's been made that, the good guys won, but the bad guy is still kind of hanging around for another day. In the Amityville Horror, I can definitely see where you could say the demon won. And, that's just the way the cookie crumbles for these movies. My biggest drawback with the whole movie is that it was so slow and it was so anticlimactic. At the end of it, I kind of felt let down as a viewer.
Do you think that that's just because we're all caught up on the fast pace of movies today compared to how they were made
That's
back in the
kind of what I was wondering. We're kind of desensitized now. Like the movies that we have now, they have the jump scares. They have the constant have you in that fight or flight mode. And this was such a slow burn. You're waiting for that. But back in the 70s, I mean, the scariest thing was The Exorcist. So,
well, I mean, if you look at it
point,
historically,
because The Exorcist is slow paced, and we think that's a classic, a great movie. The Godfather, pretty slow paced. We look at it as their dad looks at it as the best movies of all time, and is definitely one of the best. A lot of the movies before the 80s were slow paced, but a lot of them paid off. The 70s was my favorite decade for horror movies, like we said in the show. So yeah, I think after the 80s, it seems like things changed, and it took a lot. Movies are a lot more fast paced. There's not as many slow burns as there used to be in the 70s and before, in my opinion.
Well, this was definitely a slow burn.
TikTok too.
If you look at it historically,
sorry, Daniel.
Oh, I was just going to say, historically, we mentioned a couple of the more heavy hitters. You could call The Exorcist a slow burn, but it wasn't a slow burn like this, Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't necessarily a slow burn. Jaws wasn't necessarily a slow burn. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. So these movies, I wouldn't say that those movies were exactly slow burns. I do understand what you're saying. But this movie, I don't know. It just didn't press all the right buttons for me. I kind of felt let down at the end. And I do understand the cultural significance of the movie, where you have, George Lutz, banging down the bathroom door with the axe, kind of the Shining took over from that. You've got the Lutz family trying to get their family out. They're packing their stuff. They're just trying to leave. That's exactly how Poltergeist ended. So, it's not like this movie didn't have anything to bring to the table to kind of push horror forward. So, I can see that.
Right. And one thing I like about slow burns is some movies that are too fast paced, you don't end up getting to know the characters as well. Because the longer you spend with the character, the more emotion you're going to have to put into that. And some movies that are fast paced, you might get to know a character for 10 minutes before they're killed. Where with this movie, you just watch this whole family for 2 whole hours, and then it all kind of ends in chaos. I don't know. Sometimes slow burns hit harder.
And I could definitely see that, Bryson. I see where you're coming from.
When we did our ranking, our top 5 movie ranking, I think it was a lot of my top 5 favorite movies, if they were released today, would probably be considered slow burns. So, I love character development and things. So, hey, but it's nothing like the Thanksgiving movie we watched. That's the best character development I've ever seen in a movie.
Man, I'll tell you what, and this is for Audrey and every guest that we have on here, right? We haven't had a sub 100 view for like 7 months until we did Civil War, and then we've had Civil War, and then we did Thanksgiving, and neither one of those broke 100, and I'm just so sad about that. I'm like, golly, bum, we tried something out of our wheelhouse one time, and our viewers let us know real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That ain't it.
everybody's in the mood for Christmas
Yeah.
now.
Sorry, guys. We'll get back on it, I promise.
Yeah, we'll get back on it.
Here's what I blame it on. I blame it that everybody was just busy eating turkey and not listening to podcasts. So
You're
yeah.
probably right. You're probably right.
That doesn't mean Thanksgiving didn't suck, because that movie sucked.
That movie
They were stuck with their
suck.
in-laws. That's enough of a horror story. They didn't need to listen to a
that's
podcast
right.
about it.
All right, guys. Let's rate this bad boy real quick. Who wants to go first?
Well, I guess I'll go. I'll
Go for it,
get
Daniel.
mine out of the way real quick. You guys are probably gonna hate me, but I've kind of explained a little bit about kind of my viewpoint on this movie. I just felt let down, and it's going to reflect with the score. So my total for the movie is a 5, and the higher numbers that it got was the cultural significance, how movies after this was made kind of drew from what some of the scenes were in this. It kind of helped that out. You had a little bit of symbolism going on. The music, I didn't care for it. Special effects, I thought sucked. And then my overall enjoyment, I was just kind of let down. So when you add all my scores together, I'm coming up with a 5.0 from me. Which if you look at it, that's average.
Yeah, that's average. That's average.
1 to 10 is average, but that's low for me. So
Right.
that's my
Okay. Bryson, you're up, buddy. Go for it.
I think so. I didn't get to fully sit down and write my rankings like normal. It's been kind of hectic with work and everything, but I would probably give this movie a solid 6 out of 10. Did have a lot of good cultural significance. Did really like the score, but yeah, 6 out of 10 is what I'm gonna stick with.
Tell us how you really feel about it, buddy.
That was his whole review.
I tell you how I feel when it come out.
Okay, Brent, go ahead and fill in for Cade there, but I hope he didn't get killed by a demon right there.
Let's go.
He'll get logged in a minute. Sometimes this happens.
Well-
This is what makes this show fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope
The
Kate's
house is
okay
after him.
out there.
Yeah.
But all right, as far as my ranking, I have to do the viewer discretion. I always do it. So viewer discretion is advised for this movie. There was a little bit of partial nudity in this movie, and then also like violent themes.
And we
murder
love
and stuff,
nudity
so-
and violent scenes in our movies.
I give it a 5.8, so round up to 6. I thought it was okay. Symbolism was my highest score. I kind of disagree with Dad. I thought the music was pretty cool. I thought
I did
it
really
did
like the
well
music.
with the pacing of the movie.
Was it the
Yeah.
same music as Pet Cemetery? Because it sounded very familiar.
I don't think it was the same as Pet Cemetery, but it may have. Pet Cemetery came after, so maybe it drew inspiration from this soundtrack.
Yeah.
a little
That's what
bit,
it
but-
was.
Maybe
yeah.
so. Maybe so.
But overall, it was an okay movie. It's not going to be an every year watch or anything, but I enjoyed it. So 5.8, that rounds up to 6 out of 10.
Hey, Cade, are
Yeah,
you back,
6 out of
buddy?
10.
I'm back.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I think it literally cut off right
Kate's
when I
like,
started
F
giving
this
my
movie.
ranking.
Did the demons get you?
It's the demons. It's the demon pig. It's the poltergeist. It's coming.
They
to
ain't
get
got
me, man.
audio.
Okay, that was the best. That could have been timed better.
I know. I
No,
was
that
really
was
excited
great.
to get my
Dude, that
ranking.
was so funny. God,
That's
that was
awesome.
funny.
Cade, Brent gave it a 6, buddy. So now, since you're back,
Yeah.
what'd you give it, Cade?
So I gave it a 7 out of 10. Is actually my score for this movie.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, guys, what do you give it? What do you guys think?
I think probably a 6 on my end.
Okay.
And that was just because of how slow the burn was towards the end.
Yeah,
I would
I
say probably-
definitely feel you on that.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I'm kind of going back between 6 and 7. 6, 7. Just because just because it is a slow
6,
burn,
7?
but like we 6, 7. It is a
God,
slow
I can't believe I've
burn,
done
but
that.
they did try something else at the end, and I really think the rating was so high just because the story was already so well known with the actual DeFeo murders and the publicity of the Lutz family. And they released this movie just a couple of years after it actually happened. So I think they kind of were riding the coattails, and I think that helped get the rating up
Definitely.
a little bit higher than what
Think
it
so,
normally
too.
would be.
Most definitely.
Okay, so is it my turn now?
Yes, sir.
It is your turn.
All right, well, I'm going to give it a 7 just because it terrified me as a kid.
Nice, Corky. You're with me.
The movie will always have a special place in my heart just because it terrified me as a kid. Don't think it's a great movie, but I'm going to give it a 7. So, Cade, out of all the rankings, what's that make it?
That gives us an average of a 6 out of 10 for everybody, including our awesome guests tonight. So,
Awesome.
6 out of 10 from us.
All right.
I think that's
6
about
out of
right. What do you
10.
guys think?
That feels pretty good,
Yeah,
honestly. I think so.
That feels
think we hit
fair
it
for
right.
that movie, yeah.
I think we hit it right.
All right. Well, hey, guys, tell us where everybody can find you at and all that good stuff with your podcast and stuff like that before we cut on out of here.
You can find us on all streaming platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of it is Guilty and Ghostly. We drop our episodes on Monday most of the time. And we appreciate you guys having us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Thank
had
you
a
so much for
blast.
joining
Yeah,
us.
man.
Like I said, I hope we can do this kind of thing in the future because, listen, if you guys are listening to this podcast right now, flip over to their podcast because we're going to be doing the true crime and paranormal part on their podcast. So after you listen to us, flip over and listen to them. Be the same crew, same everything, just different podcasts. So having said that, man, we appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight, man, and just goofing off with us for a while. We have a good time on here, and we really appreciate you guys coming on. Hope we can do it again soon. Check out the Guilty and the Ghostly podcast. It's a great podcast. But for the Remember That crew, what we give it, Cade? 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Amityville Horror. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
See ya. Bye.
See ya, bye.
Bye.
Yo, we rolling deep, let's dive into the fright. Hit that play button, we review every bite. From horror flicks that give you chills at night to games that thrill, yeah, we get it right. Remember that, step back, hold tight. We'll dissect every scare, keep the vibe right. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes. Now let's talk beats, we break down the sound. From underground hits to the mainstream crown. Music that moves, lifts you off the ground. Tune into our rhythm, let the passion rebound. Let's reminisce, before we fight. From underground hits to the mainstream crown. Let's reminisce, every song, every fight. We'll vibe through the shadows, shining our light. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes. So plug in, we're on this ride tonight. Remember that, keeping horror in sight.